Daisy again. So it was just like, okay. So I was sick for one day. I got one day to be sick, and then I was back at it again.
Are you ready to go live?
Yeah, we're good. I'm good.
I'll need to make you a host again, won't I? Participants, Jason, Lord, make host. There we go. So I'll pop you over as host. And
All right, I'll send this live here.
I've had to move things around again because Julie's got a desk here now, which is now, it's got mostly my stuff on it. As you can see, James John Taylor's figurine here, and I've got Andrew Brown's drawing he did of this, and I've got the tape work painting
Nice.
as well.
I've got a nice James Hetfield up in the corner up there, and
Yeah!
a dog bed behind me.
Alrighty, what have I done? Full screen, exit full screen, because I need to be able to see what I'm doing. Okay, let's get started, because it says that Ball Caps and Bagpipes is live. Alrighty, shut up.
All right, looks like we're live.
Hello again, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Ball Caps and Bagpipes, a Scottish baseball podcast. I'm John McKellar. I play first base for the Glasgow Comets.
And I'm Jason Dare, former league president and Edinburgh Cannon.
And Baseball Scotland Hall of Famer, Jason.
Aye, that too.
Fire and Nugget Classics, and also co-host the Tea and Tops. Your accolades are endless. Tonight,
or I have a lot of free time, either way.
Well, I mean, no one's disputing that. We have a very special bonus episode coming up tonight. We are going to round up the Baseball Scotland Awards Dinner, which took place about 10 days ago in Dundee at the Quay. It was hosted by the Tapework Breakers. I was there. Obviously, you didn't make it along. I had an absolute whale of a time. It was a great night. It was very loud. It was full of some of the top talents in the game in Scotland. Everybody looked sharp. It was a great time, and obviously we're going to talk to our guest this evening, who has a lot of kind of input into the way these things are run. We're speaking with the Baseball Scotland president, Paul Convoy. Welcome back to the show once again, Paul.
Hello, I'm glad to be back on.
It's great to have you, man. And overall, what did you think of the awards dinner this year? Obviously, we didn't have one last year. It's the first one since, I think, Aberdeen, was it, in 2019? So it's been a while since we've managed to get everyone in the league into that same, like the same room and just have a good time and a laugh together. How did you feel it went?
If you'd asked me at the start of the season, would we have one? I wouldn't have been able to say yes. But then as time grew on, and then I think just knowing that we eventually got one, it went better than I could ever have hoped. For a Friday night, it was a good turnout, and yeah, good time by all, I think.
Absolutely, and you looked rather dashing in your kilt with a slicked back hair, if I dare say so.
Thank you.
The first thing that I want to touch on actually from that night immediately is obviously we had several categories. You had your Rookie of the Years, you had your Gold Glove, you had your Silver Sluggers, you had the Haggis Basher, and you had your MVP in addition to the President's Award and your new services to Scottish Baseball Awards that you instituted. What I noticed right off the bat, two of the first three awards that were awarded on the night went to women, and I just think that, again, we've talked about this a lot, Jason and I, particularly with some of the controversies that have happened down south earlier in the year. I think that it was lovely to see that, and I think it speaks volumes for how far Scottish baseball in particular has come in terms of inclusivity and in terms of representation for women. You've got a couple of really talented women that won awards that night, and I just wanted to say that right off the bat because that was the first thing that I did notice.
Yeah, it's one of the things that this wasn't just a nod to women. These women really earned their awards as well. It's not just a case of trying to pander to any sort of political agenda here. This is the women that won awards on the night absolutely deserved it. Especially the two rookies that won the awards. Asuka has put in so much time and effort into training, as has Erin up in Aberdeen. It's they're two future stars of Scottish baseball, in my opinion.
Absolutely. I wholeheartedly agree with both. Let's start with the rookies of the year. I haven't been able to find it online. I don't think they were listed on the Facebook page. I was there on the night, but I was also fairly tired by the end.
You
By the
were
time
3
it started, to be
lemonades
honest.
deep, weren't you, John?
I was just rather tired from the trip up. And I'm not a big social gatherings type of guy, as you know. So by the time the actual event started, I was pretty exhausted. But let's quickly go over the rookies of the year, Paul. Who were the winners other than those two ladies you aforementioned?
Yeah, so I'm sadly I've not had a chance to post them on social media yet. I'm only announced the Gold Glove and Silver Sluggers, but it was Oscar Nakamura from Edinburgh, Erin Duncan from Aberdeen. It was Ian Davidson from your Comets, and it was Jake DeBurka from Table.
Yeah, talk to us about what goes into the process for selecting rookies of the year, because obviously we don't have one league-wide rookie of the year, it's per city. Who decides it? Is it you? Is it the coaches? What's the process in terms of deciding who the best rookie of the year is in this league?
It's purely down, it's purely down to clubs. We never want to sort of try and select just one rookie because there's so many new people try out the sport every year, and it's better that we give them a nod in their first year. So the Rookie of the Year award is purely open to first year rookies at any club, and it is down to the coaches at the particular club on how they do it. So I know in Edinburgh, myself, Rory, and Sylvan had a good discussion about who should deserve it. There's a few candidates, and it doesn't always come down to gameplay. It can be down to effort and commitment.
Yeah.
And, there's a lot that goes into making a good baseball player.
So talk to us then about, obviously in Edinburgh it was Asuka Nakamura Pinder that won the award. You mentioned that you and Rory had kind of decided that between you. What gave her the edge in particular in terms of on-field play over everyone else? Because obviously Edinburgh's had quite a few rookie players come into the game just this year. What was it about Asuka that stood out?
It was the commitment and the attitude that she showed. She's not the greatest player, and she's happy to admit that. But it's if you put in the effort and you listen to the coaches, you're coachable, you have a positive attitude to learning, and you can see the growth every single week from Asuka because she kept coming back. She'd turn up to the social event, she'd come down to the game just to watch, not even play before she became a player. So it's purely down to her positive attitude.
Excellent. I mean, and that's why we have separate awards for MVPs and rookies, I guess, isn't it? So that's fantastic. Thanks, man. Let's move on to the next kind of category, which would be Gold Gloves. I'm just going to bring this up here.
So I had a question about the Gold Gloves. Did we move away from the tartan gloves?
Yeah, we tried to just align it with MLB a bit, and also because we show up in Sergi's. Right about Silver Slugger and Gold Glove time, we get a few extra likes on our Twitter posts because we've used the words.
Yeah. No, that was one of those things when I was trying to do the post on Instagram. I'm like, wait, are we not using tartan glove anymore?
We should just make it like the copper glove and the titanium slugger, just to make it so,
we had the first year we did it, we had a lot of fun. We had the tartan glove, and again the haggis basher was obviously what we called it there. So I was just trying to remember. I was like, did we change it? I couldn't remember.
I think that the home run crown is still unofficially known as the haggis basher.
Yes,
I don't think
the home run leader is still a haggis basher.
Yeah, it's not like it's official title, but that's definitely still what we know. I mean, given who won it this year, it's pretty apt. I'll say nothing more until we get there. Let's go through the list of Gold Glove winners, though. We'll start at pitcher. It was Kyle Huffey, who we're going to be hearing from quite a bit tonight. He had quite a night, Kyle, which is quite obvious. I mean, he had such a great season that why would he not? At catcher, Zach Damasco of the Glasgow Galaxy. First baseman, Gold Glove first baseman this year was Tom Knox of the Edinburgh Cannons. At second base of the champion Edinburgh Devils was Juan Suarez. Daniel Contreras of the Edinburgh Devils won the third base Gold Glove. Former ball caps and bagpipes guest Marina De Angelis of the Tayport Breakers won the shortstop Gold Glove award. And the outfield Gold Glove winners were Kit Serrell of the Edinburgh Cannons, Danny Quinn of my Glasgow Comets, and Miles Peterson of the Glasgow Galaxy. Miles Peterson, of course, well-known journeyman of Scottish baseball. He's probably played for, I think, every club at this point.
K-Port, he's doing K-Port next year. So
Important to you.
You're kind of just waiting for them to show up in an outfield arm, aren't you? Like, and have to be free, and just be like, oh, I'll do it. Just to kind of completely.
He's a hell of a catcher as well. So.
Absolutely, yeah. Are there any names that jump out to you from that list, Paul, in terms of guys or girls who've had, phenomenal defensive seasons in terms of like improvement or just taking their game to the next level?
All of them, to be honest. The pitcher was a close call because Kyle had a great season, but arguably his defence was the one that really won them the league, and the offense, the Devils. Zach at catcher. When I first saw Zach, it was down at the Battle of Britain, and that kid, superb catcher. You can just see the talent oozing out of him when he's there. Never going to see him that much in the league. But Marina at shortstop, some of the plays she made in Edinburgh when I was umpiring games, out of this world. That she's making plays there that most people just can't make. And then the outfielders, we've got so much talent out there that it's hard to really pick. But those three are very well deserving. All centre fielders, I mean.
In terms of centre fielders, I want to give a quick shout out, especially to Danny Quinn, my teammate. Obviously, I played quite a lot of baseball in left field alongside Danny in his first season. To see him win what's now back-to-back centre field Gold Gloves for the Comets made me really proud on the night, and I just continue to be blown away by that guy every year we play together. He just keeps going from strength to strength. And considering how good he started off, obviously he was a Rookie of the Year winner, in addition to a Gold Glove winner in 2019. It's scary to think how talented the boy is in centre field and how lucky we Comets are to have him, both in the field and also at the top of that Comets lineup as well, with the on base that he does. He gets big shout out to Danny, and a massive congratulations to all of the winners. Like Paul, you've said, they're all very deserving. I've seen flashes of, I think, all of these players over the course of the year, and I wholeheartedly agree that, I think there were a few where you could maybe argue it a wee bit, but I think everyone who's won the award has won it because they were deserving. In particular, yeah, for sure, like I say, Danny. I think Miles as well, and with the Galaxy. He had a really great season, and Marina De Angelis, who every time I've seen her, she's just been far and away the best player on the field for the Breakers. So yeah, very big congratulations to all of them. Do you have anything you want to add on the Gold Glove, Jason?
No, I thought it was interesting that everyone came out there. There was a lot of names I had heard before and a lot of names I didn't know. So it's just nice to see the league's evolving and we're getting excellent players all around from every team and not just one or two teams. Evolution
is the theme of the show, Jason. We're going to talk about that later on after we get past the awards. Let's move to the Silver Sluggers. The pitching Silver Slugger winner was Harris Yin for the Edinburgh Cannons. The Devils' Leo Hernandez at catcher. Tom Knox again, so he's not only a Gold Glove winner, he's a double award winner, winning the Silver Slugger Award at first base for the Edinburgh Cannons. Well done, Tom. Juan Suarez of the Champion Devils, again, he's picked up the second base Silver Slugger Award. Third base, David Johnson of the Granite City Oilers. Shortstop, Albert Rodriguez, Glasgow Comets. He was the home run crown winner this year. How many did he finish up on this year? Was it 6 he got, or was it 7?
I can't remember that total.
It might have been slightly less than that, but I know there was a game, I think he hit. Did he hit 3?
I think he had 2 in one game.
Yeah, I think one of my teammates will have to correct me if I'm wrong, but he hit 2 or 3 at least. I think he hit 2 twice potentially, and I think he might even have hit 3 in one of them. Someone correct me there if I've gone it wrong.
Albert's also back-to-back Silver Slugger at shortstop.
Yeah,
and home.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, like Albert, he has such raw power and such athletic talent for a guy who, from what I've heard, never played organised baseball before he joined this league.
Really?
It's just outstanding, like how good that guy is. I'm very privileged to be able to call him a teammate of mine, to be honest. But yeah, Albert, congratulations, man, on another Silver Slugger and winning that home run crown. For the Edinburgh Devils, Alfredo Perez was the first outfield Silver Slugger winner. Miles Peterson has won another award. It's the Silver Slugger in outfield for the Glasgow Galaxy. And of the Tapeworm Breakers, Ryan Mandala also won an outfield Silver Slugger. Any names that stick out to you, Paul, from that list in terms of names that you've seen?
Well, the outfield, apart from Alfredo, it was such a close call there. In the end, Miles snuck it over your teammate Danny. Can I argue whose stats later on? But no, Leo had a fantastic season. Batting, home runs, Harris as well, did phenomenal. And then of course Albert just it's fingers for days. You know.
Both those Edinburgh teams, top to bottom, were very formidable offensive lineups. It's scary to think that they were as good as they were, and yet probably still have room for improvement. Over the next 2 to 3 years, I think you're only going to see them get better because they, like every other team in Scotland, have a lot of young and experienced players. So as they continue to learn the game and get better and better, they're going to get even better. So it's just it's just outstanding to think how good they were, and yet we're probably going to see those two teams both improve further as we go along into 2022 and beyond.
Yeah, both Rory and Juan are looking to improve their teams for next season.
Yeah. I think Edinburgh this year has kind of set a new bar, and it seems like that's happening every year now with Scottish baseball, which I think is another sign of how far we've come as a sport. The bar gets set higher and higher every year, and it's up to whichever the teams in whichever cities aren't winning titles to catch up and match that, which brings in where managers have to do well in recruitment, and obviously the luck plays into it as the interest there. But when you look at the strides we've taken just in the last couple of years, and factor in the pandemic and everything that's done to the game over the last year and a half, I think it's a great advert for baseball, this awards ceremony. When you look at the plethora of different backgrounds that people come from, the men and women winning awards, such close fought sort of top threes in pretty much every award category as well. It's great to see.
It's been great to see everything there. I had it under authority. The Cannons were all in on Max Scherzer for next season, but we only had 42 million. So you just need
that one. You just need that extra 1.3 million to get
exactly. So no, it's great to see that you're getting such diverse people here, and it's getting better and better. And it just seems to be the league has gone from strength to strength. And next year is going to be even better. Just with what it is, and it's growing. It's fantastic to see.
Yeah. Let's move on to the MVP award. It was won by Kyle Huffey. Now, I would have thought it would have been close to unanimous, but on the night you said that it was an extremely close vote.
It was, yeah.
How close are we talking here, and who was the closest challenger?
So the way the awards are set up, it's you can't vote for your own team. So the percentages of votes are the total minus your own team's votes. So Kyle did have over half of them, but because of the way it worked out, it was still quite close between him and Marina. And again, I think that's down to her leadership and pure talent, to be honest. So yeah, and Tom Knox had a good number of votes as well, but yeah, Kyle ended up taking in my opinion, the deserved crown. He had an unbeaten season. One Devils lost, Kyle was injured. So it's sort of says it.
Yeah, I think Jason and I have talked about this quite a bit during the season here, Ball Caps and Bagpipes, week to week. I don't think that from my perspective in particular, I don't think there was ever anybody that really challenged Kyle for MVP. Like you say, he went undefeated. I mean, if you pitch that well and pitch to an undefeated season and are the key reason for your team winning a championship, then I mean it's pretty obvious that you must be the most valuable player in the league. You know, I'm very interested in the process that you put together for deciding awards, though, because it allows a bit more parity and it allows every team to have their say, and it gives everybody an opportunity to win something if they play well at the highest level they can. So that's very interesting. But yeah, I mean, Kyle, I think deserved MVP. Jason, I know you probably agree with that. We've discussed that quite a bit on the show.
Yeah, I mean, from what I've known, we get the stats each week. It sounded like Kyle was doing probably the most dominant thing out there day in, day out. And you know, as a former pitcher, I know what you have to do to win games. You know, it's a tough one out there. So if you can go a whole season without losing one, more power to you.
Yeah, Kyle was on my team, I was head of the Giants, and I would be pulling my hair out trying to get the performance he had this year out of him. This is absolutely the best I've pitch. On fire.
Yeah, I mean, I think this just proves what a lot of people have thought for a long, long time, that a focused Kyle is one of the most dangerous arms that you can face in Scotland. And he's always had that potential in him. He's always had the talent. He's always been capable of pitching, you know, a gem against any team in this league, against any player that he comes up against. For him to have put all the pieces together and managed to maintain that over a full year, and not only that, but show leadership as well on the sidelines, that can only bode well for the Edinburgh Devils.
Yeah.
Now let's move on to the President's Award. That's an award that you give once every year. Who was the President's Award recipient this year again, and what was your reasoning behind it?
This year, I decided to give it to Jason West, and this award is something I've done personally, just to recognise our commitment. It's not just playing baseball. So, you know, the first time I did it, it was for Connor and Ren for their GB involvement. This time, Jason West on not only putting together a great awards night, but pulling together a team, surviving a pandemic, of not playing, keeping that team, building one of the best diamonds in Scotland, and just the constant commitment that man shows, it's unbelievable. I really believe he can achieve anything. He's well earned.
Yeah, I mean, he's a living embodiment of the bit from Field of Dreams. You know, if you build it, they'll come. he literally went out and he built it, and he did. I think that, you know, the guy has such an infectious passion for baseball that I think he could probably walk into like a high school full of people that don't know anything about it and walk away with 2 or 3 recruits. he's just that infectious in his passion for the game, you know, and for him to have come to Scotland, he played a wee bit as a Galaxy, but he's kind of taken a step back from playing and has just taken on this role of elder statesman in the Dundee area, in terms of building baseball and growing the game. And look at the strides they've made in one season. You know, they went ahead and when it came time for the Caledonia Classic tournament, they were right in the mix. You know, they finally got that last win of the year on the last day. And Jason delighted in recounting to me that I had mentioned ahead of their last game, I had said something along the lines of, it's really a shame that it's not likely the Breakers are going to get that first win this year. And then, of course, the 1 week that I said the 1 week that I didn't say, you know, they're going to win one before it's over, they went ahead and they won. And then obviously with Shin Yen coming in, that's a great piece for them to build off.
That was the missing piece of Jason's puzzle, really. It was Shin Yen, because having Shin Yen in the team allows Ryan and Marina to play at their natural positions, which strengthens up the outfield, strengthens up the, and just, everything goes together like that. Yeah, absolutely. I think they're going to be a scary proposition looking forward. You know, they got right in the mix when it came time for the Caledonia Classic. So tape up, because when you look at how quickly they put together that baseball club, how high the interest level is among the people out there. And the field is absolutely gorgeous. I think it's the best field in Scotland.
I've never been to your still in uni field yet. I've heard good things about that, Paul.
It's nothing to do with me.
I know it holds a very special place in your heart, still in uni. But for me, that's the best Paul Park that I've been to in Scotland. So Jason West, I think, for everything he's done to put that together, is a very deserving recipient of the President's Award, and congratulations to Jason.
We know Jason's probably watching, and I want to know. You mentioned Field of Dreams. I'm just curious who would play Jason West in Field if we did Field of Dreams as Jason West. So, Jason, I expect a comment here. Who's going to play you in the movie version of Scottish Field of Dreams?
So you debuted a new category, which is Services to Scottish Baseball this year. That's separate from the President's Award. So first off, I want to know why you've added a separate category on top of the President's Award.
It was actually Side Dicky chatting with him, and he suggested, that there's a lot of people that do things in the league that don't get recognised, and the first winner was nominated by him, and I spoke to a few other people, and they completely agreed. So not to steal your thunder for the first award winner, but yeah. It sort of came for that, and then I just looked at the wider picture on what has went well this year, what has been a huge win for Scottish baseball as a whole, and I come up with 3 award winners.
Yeah, so the first one, who I was very proud to see, a guy that I've known for the better part of 10 years. I've been a teammate, I've been an adversary when he was with the Galaxy for a short while. And then he came back to the Comets for this last year. Chuan Cow, who played his final game with us when we played the Glasgow Cup game against the Galaxy a couple of months back. He was the first recipient of the Services Scottish Baseball Award in terms of the order that you read them out in. I was super proud to see that. I was so happy for him. Obviously, he wasn't there on the night, unfortunately, to be able to say that in person. But when you look at what Joanne's done in terms of developing players in Glasgow, I think if he's not going to be around, you're going to really feel his presence not being around. You're going to feel how missed he'll be. He's always been great with advice for new players. He's always been extremely patient. He's always been really uplifting as well. Like if you make a mistake or you have a bad play, he'll sit with you and he'll explain to you what you've done wrong. And he does it. He's one of these people that's able to do it in a way that you don't realise you've done something wrong. You feel like you've learned something, and that's the best way to coach someone. The best way to tell someone they've done something wrong is to tell them is to make sure that they leave the conversation knowing how to do it right next time, rather than feeling like, oh, I've fucked up. He's getting on my back. It takes a special talent to be able to do that, and Chuan's always been really great at that. His chat, his laugh, the laughs that we've had together on the bench are going to be so missed. Chuan's been a very integral part of my development early on as a player. So, I can't say enough about what Chuan means to Glasgow baseball. The fact that he's been recognised with that award, I think, is very fitting. The Tapeworm Baseball Club Facebook says, shout out to Paul as well for all his efforts and representing Baseball Scotland on a national level. And also to all the umpires and referees, especially those who are just getting started on that side of things. Paul Gardner has said Jason Momoa should play Jason West. However, it looks like Jason has said Dave Bautista would be a better fit.
I agree with that. Dave Bautista.
I'm a big fan of Dave Bautista, so I would go with Bautista if it was me that was picking. If I was the casting director on that movie, you better believe I'm hiring Big Dave. This is about the team is evolution tonight. Mickey Tarian Walton, I love that name. I'm going to call him Henrik. So Mickey Tarian has said, well done, Kyle, for winning SNBL's Ballon d'Or. He's definitely a more deserving winner than Messi was anyway this year, I have to say. Andy Sweeney says, I'm sure those home runs had nothing to do with your fence positioning. I don't know whether he's talking about Glasgow or Edinburgh. I don't know if he's describing my comments. We might have problems here.
If I remember correctly, Glasgow's left field fence was rather short.
Is Edinburgh's?
I mean, Edinburgh's right field is literally a puddle about 100 feet from home place.
So you know the funny thing is, it's about 10 or 15 feet difference. At least it used to be between right field and left field. We measured it out.
Yeah, it's crazy how short that right field feels. I guess it's just because of how busy that corner is.
Yeah, and the hill just makes it look much shorter than it really is, because we measured it out about 260, 265, which is still short.
It's about 280 now. I've moved the field slightly more away from the marsh, so we get 280.
God, it's
Well,
amazing.
good thing I retired a few years ago. I don't think I would have hit 280.
The dynamics of the ballpark. Big Stuart Anstead, who we know very well, Jason, has said, love seeing you guys talking baseball after the MLB season ended over here. Going through baseball withdrawals. Hope things are going well for you. Stuart, thanks so much for joining us. We'll have to catch up soon. It's been too long. Let's move on to the next Services to Scottish Baseball winner, who was me. That's kind of, that was an award that, speaking for both of us, I think, Jason, for us to have done this show for the last 3 years, the amount of effort we've put into it, to have that effort be acknowledged by yourself, Paul, meant a lot to both of us. Ball caps and bagpipe staff, it's just a kind of something for Jason to do, to stay involved in baseball, and it's kept me going through some pretty tough times mental health wise over the last couple of years, which I don't think a lot of people know. There have been some weeks where the only highlight for me that was worth getting out of bed for was doing the show with Jason. So to have that recognition and to have people, there's been so many comments and so many messages from people saying like it's well deserved and congratulating myself and the show. So to have that happen has made it worthwhile. I think we've put a lot of energy into it, particularly like last year when we were very fortunate to do the NLB Mark stuff. And it was very difficult stuff. It was for 3 weeks we were doing 2 and sometimes 3, and even once or twice we had 4 interviews a night. It was exhausting, but to get this recognition makes all of that worthwhile, to be able to kind of fly the flag for Scottish baseball. And like we just said, we've got Stuart Anstead watching tonight. So thank you so very much for that, Paul, and for everybody who continues to watch and listen. Without the people who tune in every week, we wouldn't have any reason to do this. So we have to certainly mention them.
I think my favorite part was I get a text in the middle of the night. Did you know? Did you know? I'm like, no, what? I didn't know anything. I won an award.
Yeah. What
To be fair, John, Jason didn't even know he was going into the Hall of Fame when I put him in there. So.
Exactly.
What I did want to ask is, why was it me and not us?
Well, to be honest, it was Jason's already in the Hall of Fame. You can't get a higher recognition than being in the Hall of Fame. He was one of the first inductees as well. Jason's done so much for Scottish baseball, it's hard to even quantify. So to tag this on top of it is a mere blip in his radar. It's Jason's instrumental to baseball Scotland existing, and I trust that he knows that.
Yeah. Jason's due a monument in Edinburgh, I think.
If I get the money, there will be a little statue, a little bust of Jason. that one right there.
To be honest, Wolfie deserves one more than I do, so I'll look at Wolfie one first.
I'll get onto that one later, but so the award was for you, John, because you've put in a lot of effort as well, as Jason does, and the passion you've shown for the game here is unrivaled through this podcast, and it's the comments like Stuart said, knowing that it's reaching a wider audience than just our little community, it really means a lot to me that this exists. So my way of saying thank you.
Well, thank you, man. Let's move on to the third, and for my money, the most notable of the 3 Services to Scottish Baseball winners. The third was won by Stephen Evans in Aberdeen. Talk to me about his award. We all know kind of the effect that he's had on Scottish baseball, but what was your thinking behind awarding him that particular award?
It was a sort of combination, as I said in the little speech on the night, that even when Stephen left the country, was over in America, he was he was still pushing the Baseball Scotland message. You know, me and him had many conversations early hours in the morning because of the time difference. Yeah, but he's fully committed to Scottish baseball, and he's now been appointed the hitting coach for the GB women's national team. He's helping fly the flag down there as well, and he never lets it be not known that he is part of Baseball Scotland.
I don't have an answer for that.
That's Alexa. It's you.
Well, that's just too bad.
In all the shows we've done, we've been probably close to 100 shows. Alexa's never been on before.
Sorry, you were saying, Paul.
Yeah, so, yeah, it was just to honour Stephen or something.
Oh.
Well, that's the feedback there. So
Sorry.
But well deserved. I mean, I know Stephen when he first came up. I think it was 2013 when he came out to Aberdeen, and you know the time and effort he's put into it. The last 8 years is immense. You know, and he's only gotten more and more involved as time's gone on. So it's absolutely well deserved for him.
Yeah, there's something else worth mentioning as well, that Stephen came back. He's at Stirling University, and he wasn't planning on being part of Aberdeen Baseball Club. The club that he started, he thought it was too far of a travel, but he turned around and he changed his mind on that one and committed himself to Aberdeen for the year and travelled up down there every week. You know, that's not just for away games, every game.
So those were the three services to Scottish Baseball Awards. Sorry, I'm still rattled through that Alexa interruption there.
That's
all of the. I believe that's all of the individual honours. Obviously, the league trophy, the Caledonia Cup, they were also officially presented to the Edinburgh Devils, who we've said before on the show, very deserving winners of the league this year, and to see them sent back to the top of that league in the fashion that they did. It's not just it was a hard fought league to a point, but they were always so consistently good that it was always going to be very difficult to knock them off that perch. And in the end, it turned out that no one was capable of doing so. We expect big things from both Edinburgh teams, I think, moving forward into next year. I think we expect big things from all of the clubs who'll be featured in Scottish baseball next year. That takes us on to the two major announcements that you made on the night that I wanted to touch on. The first one is the Scotland national team. It's going to be 3 different levels moving forward. Talk to us about that. How did that decision come to be, and what will that mean in real terms?
Well, this is purely a decision just now. It was a sort of nod to British baseball as a whole is played across 3 levels. And I've been part of the British Baseball Council for years now. That was set up from all the independent leagues that are in the UK. British baseball's politics are a little bit of a mess, but it's getting better, a lot better now. And it's played across 3 levels. As we are branching into play 2 different levels in our league, it made sense that players could then play under a Scotland jersey at those levels. So one of the things the British Baseball Council spoke about was that we need to hold more tournaments, but specify a level. So the Battle for Britain tournament is a AAA level tournament. It's hard fought, but there is called AA tournaments and single A tournaments. And it's really hard for us to send teams down south as just one collective team because you need pitch and you need numbers. So it makes more sense to send a Scotland and then just pick the players that are deserving of that level to play that tournament, in order to get people more experience playing in other fields and allow us to actually put down a good representation of the league. So that was the reason behind it.
So that brings me then on to my next and last main question. 2 divisions. Moving forward, the Dev League has been a very popular idea this year, and that's being scrapped in its current form in favour of a 2-division setup. It will be A-ball and AAA. Before we get into the ins and outs of those 2 divisions, I wanted to ask you, how are we as Scottish baseball going to build a AA national team out of AAA and A?
Yeah, well, we're going to have to rank the players in the league. The reason we're not going to a league because right now there's still a mix. There's still a lot of players that are very single A players, but there's a lot of players that are also double A and just not quite triple A level. So we're branding it single A just now because we want to try and keep that door open to allow new players to keep coming in. And the whole message Baseball Scotland's put out there since the very beginning when Jason's involved setting it up was it's for everybody to play. If you want to play baseball in this country, here's a space where you can do it.
Yeah.
We want to keep that door open. So having the AAA level for highly competitive players is fantastic. It keeps those players interested. Also allows new players to take part in a single A league where it's a little bit more relaxed, still competitive, but no one's going to roar at you for dropping the ball at shortstop and costing the game, it's that thing.
So what can you tell us about the structure in terms of, so you've got AAA, I would assume that's going to be that'll remain largely unchanged, I would imagine. Will single A just be the development teams of each club? Is it going to be up to the clubs themselves? How many teams per division are we looking at? And one other thing I wanted to touch on is the fact that you mentioned that single A players will be playing full games, which then obviously brings in the question of when are the games going to be fit in?
These are all questions I cannot answer at the minute. It's the development league was brought in as a sort of test in this appetite there would be for it, in order to allow us to play at AAA level. Because being the AAA level down south, I knew that our clubs could form a AAA team. No, if that meant, like Edinburgh did, having to amalgamate some of the giants that were left into the two teams, and that's what kind of had to happen. But then it could eliminate some of the new players and the lesser able among us to play at that higher level. So that's where the development league came in, is to give players game time. And then because of the popularity of it, especially in Glasgow, you guys banged it at the park every time. You turned up, watched the games. I think the makeup of the division, the A League, is just going to have to be the clubs. I think in Edinburgh we're only going to field one team in that league. Going to start off with anyway. Glasgow's probably not got enough. I'm not sure what's going to happen with Tate and Aberdeen, but yeah, this is all to find out. One, how many teams are going to be in it, how many can play, field availability. There's a whole lot of questions to answer, but we are committed as a league, as an organisation, to deliver 2 divisions next year.
If I was to hold a gun to your head and ask you, what's the structure of game day going to be like moving forward? What do you foresee it being? I know you can't answer these questions for definite until you've had more discussions with the managers and the board. But what do you envision the structure of game day being now? Are there going to be games on separate days of the weekend? Are we going to look at potentially midweek games? How are we going to fit the full games in?
I think it's just going to have to stick to that. But involve one team starting a little bit earlier than the other. How that exactly works, we're going to have to discuss. But I would like to see both of them played on a Sunday, just back to back.
Yep.
We have the 7-inning structure. That works across the rest of the UK very well, double header 7-inning games. So there's no reason why we can't do that up here. Just at games at different level. There might have to be a time limit on it, but it's not going to be anywhere near as restrictive as the development league.
Yeah, it was fun getting a couple of innings in, but yeah, I think that the decision to move it to full games is great. If you're playing full games against players that are kind of more at your level, it's a better way to develop as a player and become better and start to work towards the AAA level. If us single A guys and girls are playing against each other every week, we're going to get better at the game naturally. And then that's going to let us knock on the door of AAA, and then we can potentially get a few innings here and there at AAA and test ourselves against the kind of better players in the league. So I think that's a really good idea in terms of the structure.
One thing I want to make clear is that there's going to be no restriction on a player playing at AAA level if they're starting off. We're not going to need perfect transfer or anything like that. It's just going to be you can.
Will there be any restrictions back the way? Will there be restrictions against AAA players in A games?
I think we'll have to put on some if we're going to make it competitive.
Mm.
That's going to be discussed with the managers and league board.
Yeah, interesting. Food for thought, Paul. We'll have to catch up with you again in the spring when we come back for season 4 and really flesh these out after the meetings are all over. But that's all from me tonight. Thank you so very much for joining us to talk about the awards dinner and these 2 amazing announcements that you've made. I think they're going to make Scottish baseball even better.
Can I ask a question?
Absolutely.
For these 3 sort of Scotland national teams, the national team is the GB. Scotland team, because we can't call them the Scottish national team, they'll need 3 distinct names. Now, there's one name I'm definitely putting into one of them, and that is the Scottish Werewolves.
I was hoping it was, as soon as you said that, I was hoping the Werewolves were going to be one.
So the Werewolves will be one of them. I don't know what level it's going to be at, but yeah, we'll need to name the other 2 levels. So anybody listening can send suggestions.
That sounds like a contest we need to have.
Yeah, we're going to need to put something out there in terms of a contest and see if we can get a community consensus on what the other 2 names should be. Yeah, we'll just call ourselves the national team, and they're just going to have to deal with it.
Yeah, I think because we could probably reach out to Stuart and the rest of the guys that we know in the art community there, and we could have full branding behind it as well too.
That was going to be my next request.
Yeah, I'm sure we can have it happen. And funny enough, I know somebody that can print cards now, so we can actually have player cards for next year.
We collected the photographs ready for these suggestions. That's good.
So yeah, so we'll talk off screen another time.
I need somebody to get me a parrot so I can recreate that legendary. Or the old John Wetland guitar.
Yes, I know what you're talking about. Yes. So, but yes, yeah, we'll do that. It sounds like we should. That might be something to do January, February when spring training and interest is up there, and have a competition to name the teams, because that could be a lot of fun. But I love the werewolf idea. That's a fantastic one.
Well, Stuart says I'm in, so we need to Paul get in touch with Stuart, and you guys can chat, and we'll get something sorted in terms of branding for the new national teams. Or the regional, blah, blah. It's the national. Never mind all that nonsense. Baseball Scotland NFTs as well. I still don't know what an NFT is, Jason. Like, I think Jason has tried to explain what NFTs are to me about 3 or 4 times. Paul Gardner says the haggis bashers. I mean, we don't want to be laughed off the field, Paul. Come on.
I don't know. There's a team representing one of these Midlands, the Firebreed Kittens, so you never know.
I mean, guys, there was the Bolton Robots of Doom, so why stop there?
Haggis bashers. I mean, we might as well call ourselves the sheep shaggers. Let's be honest.
You went there, John. There was a line. You crossed it.
That's what I do, Jason. I cross lines. So yeah, Stuart's in. Saeed says Baseball Scotland NFTs. Yeah, we're going to need to sit down again later tonight, Jason. You'll have to explain to me for the millionth time what an NFT actually is. Mickey Tarian says ball caps and bagpipes to host next year's SNBL Award night. I'm wholeheartedly behind that idea. 100% in favour of that. Well done on the work that we do. From James Seahar. Thanks so much, James. He watches every week. Without people like you, Jim, this show wouldn't exist anymore, because it's people like you that we do it every week. Table, a great season. Yeah, it was. And thank you to all the players and luminaries of Scottish baseball who come on the show every week to talk to us, particularly yourself, Paul. You've made time whenever we've asked for you to come on and explain your decision making to us in detail. So it's
on a live broadcast as well, so you can't.
Yeah, yeah. It can't be easy now doing it on a live video. I'm still not really used to it myself.
Zero prep.
Yeah, but Paul Gilner, I'm not from Aberdeen. Well, he said it, not me.
All right. Well, before we go, and I'm sure it was mentioned at the award show, which I was gutted I couldn't make it. Paul, give yourself a big pat in the back for everything you do there. Another successful season in the books, and everyone's looking forward to seeing what comes up next season.
Yeah. And yeah, that's probably the perfect place to end on tonight. Thank you so very much to everyone who's watched over the course of season 3. We are going to be checking out until February-ish. we'll be back for season 4 in about February.
Yeah,
around
we've got some guests lined
Christmas.
up that we need to go and get them there. We've got some old timers we're going to talk to.
Yeah, so we'll be back around spring training time to kickstart season 4. We'll be covering Scottish baseball week to week next year. Hopefully we'll get a full season in, and it's going to be really exciting to cover 2 different levels of baseball in Scotland and see how that dynamic changes things. If you want to keep up with us in the meantime, obviously if you're on Facebook watching live, you know it's facebook.com/capsandpipes. It's Twitter, it's @capsandpipes. You can also find us on YouTube, just search Ball Caps and Bagpipes on YouTube. And we're on Instagram as well, it's Ball Caps and Bagpipes, but I don't bother
Yep,
with it. I don't know
we're on
how
that,
much
don't
content's
worry.
even on there. So that's Jason's thing. Thank you so very much to everyone for listening and watching. The audio version of this will be out in about 2 hours. So look out for that. If you would rather not have to put up with your faces for an hour. Thanks again, Paul, for joining us. It's @Scots_baseball on Twitter, and I don't even know if we should bother with the website because it's been
It's
We have
broken.
a website.
yeah, it's pretty broken, isn't it?
Broken.
We hopefully we'll have a new website up and running.
Yeah, our host has disappeared. So
Oh, I thought you were talking the Ball Caps and Back guys. So I was like, wow, we did a website.
Yeah, well, we are going to have a blog next season, which we'll get into in February. I'm going to be working in the background towards that. We'll be posting Scottish baseball thoughts and memories and inviting other people to do the same. We'll do some sort of transcripts of the podcast interviews on there as well. So that's all in the background and will be coming next season, assuming that I can get off my fat arse and get it done in time. Thanks again, guys, and that's going to be it. Good night.
All right, guys, take it easy. Happy holidays, everyone. Stay safe. We'll see you in spring training.
See you in February.